All right, I think if you're sitting, I think that's going to be best. Let me make sure we got a good, let's see. Yeah, that's going to work perfect. And I'll just kneel down, and I should be, am I in the shot?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, good, you can see. All right. Jason here with Michigan Geek Easy, and I'm here with Matthew Waterson, the voice of Magneto in X-Men 97. The first thing I have to say is I love your pen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I teach theater, so a lot of that community and connection with that. Yeah, absolutely. So Magneto is always right. He always has been right. What's it like to play the man who is right?
What's it like to be right?
That's right, yeah.
It feels good because it's the complete opposite of real life, where I'm most of the time wrong.
I love that.
But yeah, look, I'm biased, but we will ask a lot. You know, they'll come up and say, do you think Magneto was right? And I know I'm biased, but I do.
Yeah. I mean, in what way do you feel like he's the most right? Like, what calls for his perception of things to be the right choice, do you think?
To me, at least in our version of it, the main difference, the really fascinating thing is that Charles and Eric want the same thing. They have a different way of getting there. And Charles, because of the powers he has, Charles can see good in someone who is doing something bad and be like, yeah, but there's good in there that we should strive for. Eric doesn't have that ability, but Eric just has life experience, and so his response is, I don't care if there's good in them. That's not what they're behaving on. That's not what they're acting on. And I have seen what happens if we don't react, if we don't respond to what people actually do. And so and unfortunately, that's kind of the case. Like, somebody's saying, "Oh, no, like I don't have a problem with this, or I'm fine with that," but then they do something that goes against that. Okay, it doesn't matter what they say. Well, it's what they do. So if somebody says that, you know, they're for something, and then they behave or act or vote in a way that's in opposition to that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you said the right things; you did the wrong things. It reminds me of about 10 years ago, Patton Oswalt had a bit where. It was this great bit where he talked about the difference between how people talk and how they act. And he's like, I've known people who said all the right things and are terrible people. He's like, I know other people who don't know how to talk right at all, but what they do is good. And what their actual intention is great. He's like, we need to differentiate between those two people and behave and treat people based on how they act, not necessarily what they say.
So Magneto is very much of the, like, if he shows you who he is, believe him, right?
Yeah.
Perception of
things.
Yes,
when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, and
maybe they change, but they have to actually change, not just say, "Oh, I'm going to change."
Right. And his own experience, very different from Charles as well, which shapes how we perceive the world, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's just unfortunate, I think he even feels, that the world got to a place where, like, he has to do what he does in 97 when he just basically shuts down the whole planet.
Well, especially when you see that and you go, oh, you have been able to do this since you were 15. Or, maybe 25. Maybe it took a little bit of honing of skill set. But you've been able to do this for a long time. But you haven't. And so clearly there was a choice not to. And then there was a choice, okay, now there's no reason to continue to use any kind of restraint.
Cool. Very cool. So the costume with the big M.
Yes.
I loved it because I grew up with X-Men versus Avengers and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was fabulous. But it was pretty, like, hit or miss. Like, some people really loved it, some didn't. What was your thoughts when you saw it?
So, two things. One, I loved it for selfish reasons because nobody else has voiced that iteration of him before, so I got to be like, okay, that one's mine. And I got to be the first one to voice that one, so that one's always going to be mine. But when they first showed it to me and said, we're pulling this from issue 200 and this is canon, this is not like something we fabricated, I really liked the idea coming in of Eric is in a completely different place coming into this season than he has been previously. So the way he talks is different. The way he dresses is different. He doesn't have the helmet on, so you're seeing his face. He has that amazing Vidal Sassoon inspired hair. Like, he's trying something different, and so he's presenting himself differently. And I kind of loved the purple black suit. I thought it was terrific, and I always liked it. And I knew when they showed it to me, I said, "Boy, this is going to be divisive." And they went, "Yeah, I know." Great, that's awesome. I'm here
and the
for
whole
it.
series kind of went with that. You know, it just really took what they did in the original and kind of just turned the volume up on it, and I absolutely loved it. So, when it comes to playing Magneto, being this iconic character, like what went into you getting in touch with that character as an actor?
So 2 things. The first one was going back and watching all of David Hemblin's work, who voiced him in the original show, and to make sure that I had a good feel for his cadence, his delivery, like how he came to the character. But then the favor that production gave me was saying, as I just said, this is him in a different place, so there needs to be a bit of a shift. And then going, okay, and getting an idea, being told by production an idea of like where the arc was going and where the story was going, okay, based on where we're going, based on where we're starting, how do we want to sort of mold this so that it will hopefully be the most effective? Cool. And so, yeah, it was a mix of A, voice matching, and then B, being able to have at least the whole first season in mind and go, okay, we kind of know where it's going, so we kind of want to know how to play it. And there was interesting stuff, like we had the conversation in the episode where Magneto gets arrested, and at one point we said, wait a minute, he's floating 25 feet above the X-Men and there's 5 helicopters. Shouldn't he need to yell? And then there was a conversation, then we came to no, he doesn't. He just doesn't yell. You can just hear him. There's a little bit of just playing with its the medium, but going like, he doesn't ever yell until he yells, and he doesn't yell much. Like, we're going to save him yelling until he yells, and that's why even like enough is whispered, and it's not really until like the very, very end where you see him now start to yell a little bit.
That's awesome. Can you tell us anything about another season?
There is one.
I love it.
There's 2, actually. We know we're doing season 2 and season 3.
Awesome.
I did 1 and 2, so we're doing 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And we've done most of the recording on season 2. We're starting to record season 3.
Cool.
In terms of what happens, I'm not allowed to tell you what does happen. But what I have realized is that I can tell you things that don't happen, because that's not covered by NDA. So in panels, people will be like, what happens? I'm like, it's amazing. We got Hugh Jackman to come, but he's playing Toad, and Patrick Stewart is going to come, but Patrick Stewart is playing and people are like, wait,
what?
The NDA doesn't say I can't say what isn't happening.
That's right.
So I can just start making stuff up until all of a sudden I get a phone call from Marvel saying, you said this and you can't say that. I'm like, wait, is that happening? Okay. I stumbled across it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's fantastic. So to close out, so I can let you get back to your fans and stuff, can you give us one line from Magneto?
I am trying to be better. Please, do not make me let you down.
I love it. Thank you so much. It was a total pleasure.
Pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah. All right.